legislation. I'm trying to convince legislators that, because as of right now, we have a brand new medical marijuana bill in Iowa. It was started in the House, it'll be going to the Senate. And right now they only want to cover 3 things: epilepsy, MS, and gosh, I can't recall what the third one is. But we know that we can only get that bill approved with those 3 issues being in it. They're not going to approve anything else. So what we had to do is make sure that it also covered prescriptions written by the VA that the VA will not fill, but that it will cover for veterans should they have those 3. Because once we can get that small portion of that bill approved, I know that next year I can go back and have other conditions added to it. And that's something that a lot of people, I understand it's frustrating because you want what you want when you want it, but sometimes you do have to start out small. And you have to win a really small battle to get closer to the bigger one that you're trying to fight.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Because I do believe eventually the VA will approve a lot more therapeutic treatments as well as cannabis oil and medical marijuana. And we're getting closer because, gosh, think about 10 years ago. Nobody would have even considered using, are you kidding? Pot? You're just a weed head. Nobody ever thought about marijuana being a medicinal reason.
Right.
And here we are 10 years later. Well, yeah, we have proof that it does help a lot of situations.
Well, and, my state is a prime example. Again, this has been, we were one of these states that, this is never going to happen here. I mean, we still have what they call the PA blue laws where you can't buy alcohol at certain places. You can't hunt on a Sunday. These are old.
I cannot live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, these are old school laws that are still on the books. So nobody ever thought it would happen here, but 90% of the citizens here, in polls and all that, 90% say they support it. That's a drastic shift on a major issue, And Cindy says, here in PA they're saying it's only going to be oils, pills, tinctures, and they are allowing vaporization of those as well. They're not actually going to let you roll up a doobie and smoke it up.
Right. The majority of states, they're not going as far as, Colorado and is it Ohio that is the closest to Colorado in their marijuana laws? I believe it is.
No.
But there's one other state, and I can't recall what it is, but the majority of states are beginning with oils.
Yeah.
And, other types of uses. Nobody in their right mind is going up there and lobbying, going, I really want to smoke a joint every once in a while just because I want to smoke a joint. We'll get there. We just have to break it down into steps.
Right.
Nobody learns to swim just by jumping in the ocean. You kind of have to get your feet wet first. A few people did, but it was probably pretty hard, and they hacked up a lung with a whole bunch of water. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a process, and I think we need to have a segment on the show again about this because it's a big area of debate, and we'll bring that guy to you folks here in the near future. We'll start working on that. We're just about out of time today, so I'm gonna throw out a couple random stories, and I'll save the rest of the other ones for tomorrow. But these were 3 stories again that they just sort of caught my attention, and for various reasons, you'll know right away why they did. The first one. And this could not have happened to a better guy. Jared Fogle there, the subway guy, has now been brutally assaulted in prison because he's a pedophile. Apparently.
Joke I can tie in with the $5 footlong.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something along those lines too. But apparently, a guy by the name of Stephen Nigg, a 60-year-old dude. Serving time on gun charges, who hates pedophiles, left Fogle with a bloody nose, swollen face, and scratches on his neck after beating him down in the prison rec yard. Like I said, it couldn't happen to a better guy, and really this has nothing to do with anything. but it kind of made me smile. Right, wrong, or otherwise, it sort of made me smile.
Easier than he probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm condoning violence, but,
right.
We all know, even in prison, there's a certain hierarchy.
Yep.
And pedophiles do not rank very high.
Absolutely. The second random story here that I wanted to get in spoke to me because of all my years as a DJ, and this is an area that I would find myself in trouble with, and probably for different reasons. But this is out of Westfield, Massachusetts, and there was like 350 people crammed into this bar that could only hold 160 people, and the police came in and started raiding it. Okay, they started kicking people out. I guess it was getting really reckless and out of control. So the police come in to clear out this overcrowded bar, and the DJ, name is Kayshawn Harris, a.k.a. DJ Boogie, started playing a song as soon as the officers started clearing people out, and that was the NWA classic song, Fuck the Police.
Oh, goodness.
Now,
see, I would have gone with YMCA.
Nice. I don't know what his motivation was or anything, and, it was probably, I'm assuming it was an anti-police statement, just judging by the song and everything. But I found this really funny, and I'm not anti-law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. But he actually got fined for it. He actually got fined for
playing the song.
Yes, he received a summons for disorderly conduct because he played that song.
I'm surprised they didn't try and slap him with inciting a riot.
That's another route they could have taken, and this brings up the topic of where does free speech have its limits and all that. But I know as a DJ, I used to do smart ass stuff like this all the time. I DJ'd this one wedding. This was years ago. It was a huge wedding, couple hundred people in attendance. The top dollar stuff, and they also hired me to do the music for the ceremony as well. So I'm there, I'm all dressed in my suit and everything, and I'm kind of playing the soft little music for the bridal party coming down the aisle and all that stuff. And it all gets done, and the bride is nowhere to be found. And we're waiting, and it just goes on. I keep playing these crappy little background music songs, it's getting really awkward. And they kept saying, oh, well, the bride's getting ready, she is coming, she's not running away or anything. So didn't I get on there and play the country song, Waiting on a Woman? And if you're not familiar, the whole point of the song is, it's two guys sitting on a bench, young guy and an old guy, and the old guy says, hey, you're waiting on a woman, and you're going to do this the rest of your life sort of thing. I thought it was hysterical. I didn't think it was disrespectful at all. I thought it was really funny. And the people attending, they thought it was hilarious. The mother of the bride did not find the humor in it. I got my ass chewed for like an hour from this woman because I disrespected her daughter by playing that song and blah, blah. They left a nasty review on my website. I mean, it was pretty bad. I still say the joke was worth it, and I would do it again. So I had to throw that article in because that's something I would do.
Yeah, I can find the humor in that because, I do very, very random, strange things. Mm-hmm. Well, just last week, my special and I met in Fort Lauderdale after my week in D.C., and he had a conference in Florida. I flew to Lauderdale, and we were in Fort Lauderdale for one extra night until we left the next morning for what was the official vacation. And that meant he was still on the company time. Right. So we had to split our tickets. Mm-hmm. I forgot not everybody has my sense of humor. So when the waiter came and he said, we need this split into 2 tickets, the waiter looked a little confused. So my special says, just split it evenly. Mine's on my ticket. Hers is on hers. And I just piped up, yes, we don't want his wife to know.
Oh, nice.
To me, that was funny.
Right?
The poor kid looked mortified. And I had to explain, I'm totally joking. We're not cheating on anybody. But, we have those moments where your sense of humor, you sometimes think other people are going to get, and they don't always. And sometimes that makes the situation even funnier.
Yeah. But anyhow, the last story I want to cover today is actually, you're not going to believe this, I am about to say something positive about legislation on college campuses. Who'd have seen that one coming? I bitch.
Well, I'm curious to see how you're going to go with this, because I don't believe legislation needs to be on college campuses.
I bitch constantly about the state of higher education in this country. The constant butthurt, the constant need for a safe space because words are ruining your life, and cry me a freaking river, the pussification of America, whatever you want to call it. And everybody, by and large, I hate those labeling everybody, but all these schools out there, especially major universities, are buying into this crap. We talk about how they say, oh well, you can't say Merry Christmas to somebody because it's going to hurt their feelings if they're Jewish or whatever, or the racism's everything, blah blah blah. This story comes from the Daily Caller. Tennessee is working on a law. The General Assembly is considering a bill this week that would prevent school officials from disciplining students who exercise their free speech. And this will apply to all taxpayer-funded college campuses.
So they're going to have to get rid of safe spaces?
Yeah, it would also ban so-called biased reporting systems. It's what is it, HB 2063, and yeah, it bans all school officials, faculty members, and staff from punishing, disciplining, or censuring students for the content of lawful speech. Amen. A freaking man.
Wow.
It gets rid of these these free speech zones. I hate that thing. I've seen it. That was actually starting a lot when I was in college there at Kent State, back in 2003. There were certain areas on campus designated for your free speech, that's ridiculous to me. So this would completely make the entire campus a free speech zone. It would also outlaw the obligatory use of any quote-unquote trigger warnings. It said they would be required to allow free, robust, and uninhibited debate and deliberations to the maximum degree allowed under the law, no matter how offensive or disagreeable the ideas may be to members of the community.
Mm-hmm.
What's the for?
Well, that's just, first of all, I think safe spaces, the only thing it lends to is for some really great jokes on late night TV.
Mm.
I think it's a ridiculous concept.
Right.
Because, what are you going to do? And 5-10 years after you graduate from college and you actually have a grown-up job and someone says something that you don't like, you're going to go to your boss and say, excuse me, I need to go to my safe place?
Right.
That's just not real life. And why would we want to create that kind of society?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, the whole idea of getting older is to become more mature in our society. What those situations with safe places do is it reverts you back to childhood. Go to the corner, go to your room until you can calm down. It's ridiculous. I'm glad that this particular college is doing that, but it's just disgusting that they even have to.
Well, actually, this isn't just a particular college. This is a state law that they're working on. And this would apply to every taxpayer-funded college in the state of Tennessee.
Well, good on them.
Yeah, my hat's off to them. In this day and age, this is wild, and this is where it needs to go. If you, like you said, if you really want to, raise the youth of the future, to be able to handle things, to be able to deal with issues, by God, they need to be able to talk about this stuff. And this would kind of let them to do that. Now, will this thing pass? Hell, I have no idea. I'm hoping it does, because
I'm hoping it's got a better chance than, say, Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
It's stories like this that just, although it's for a positive thing. Mm-hmm. It just reminds me